it gives out the notifications, or it'll censor me today. Oop. Hey everyone, and to see if it censors me today, or we'll let people know. Hey guys. All right, I'm gonna give it like a minute, and then I'm gonna introduce our guest, who are awesome, by the way. They're my favorite humans this week. And if you guys can share, we're gonna be talking about pedophile John Blanchard. I'll call him one. They don't have to. I'll call him one though. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I'm just going to introduce our guest. It's Jamie and Janet. They are a husband and wife. If you guys have been following me for a while, you've heard me talk about John Blanchard, who went and solicited sex from a minor who he thought was a minor, drove over there with the intent to rape her, which I always say children cannot consent to sex. So he wasn't soliciting sex. He was soliciting to go rape her because that is a child. It was a sting operation. The sting operation, the sting operation, a bunch of men got arrested, and I'll let Jamie and Janet get into that a little bit more because they have more details on that. Well, John Blanchard's charges got dropped while all the other men in this sting operation are still facing charges. So, hey, I guess your tithing dollars go to good use when you go to John Blanchard's church because it helps to get a pedophile off. So Janet and Jamie went and protested this church and got arrested. I'm not going to tell their story. I just thought that they were awesome. Someone had sent their video to me, and I think everyone should be interviewing them because it's time that we all stand up to these pastors that are predatory preachers and aren't preachers at all and don't preach about God at all. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce. Hello.
Hey guys.
Hi. Hi guys. So this is Jamie and Janet, everyone. And I know I get censored so bad. So if you guys can share it or whatever, and hopefully this will stream to YouTube too, but I won't be able to see it until we get off. So why don't you guys just tell us your story of like what made you go protest and like what was the final straw, and then just up to your arrest.
All right. So my name is Jamie, also known as Buffalo Man 11. My wife is Janet, and she's known as Buffalo Wifey 11.
I love it.
So
that's so cute.
For the last year, we've been actually protesting underage drag shows, all-age drag shows, and we've been hitting it hard in North Carolina, and they kind of slowed down because they came out and they started hiding it from like public view, so you couldn't go in and see, you know, when they were, where they were. So
they can't hear us.
So yeah, that's how that started. And then I got a bunch of emails from a bunch of my viewers saying, "Hey, look into this pedophile preacher at Rock Church in Virginia Beach." So I was like, I had a live stream, and from there, we did a live. We went through all the evidence. We went through the web pretty hard, and that's when I think the next week after that we started going out there. So this started in December, and since then we've just been going out there every single weekend. And
how many are there with you guys? Is it just you two, or is there like a big group of you?
When this first started, I think there was maybe 15 people. They kind of backed away because a lot of them were the victims and they didn't want to be out there. They kind of got scared, like most of the world is right now to stand up. And so lately we've had my wife, my son, Sebastian, and a couple others that still came. So it's been at least 5 or 6 people. Sometimes it was only me and my wife and Sebastian, and then we got my son to start coming out, and he's really big into church. He don't go to a church, but he reads the Bible and all that good stuff. So he's a good asset to have out there. So yeah, we've been going every Sunday since December, every single week. And I've never had no problems with nobody. Like the police officers would walk around, they'd come over and they'd fist bump me and everything, saying you're doing a great job.
The police
And
officers are
then,
supposed to be protecting him, right? Are those the ones that
yeah,
are supposed to?
well,
I mean, they don't want to protect
how,
them.
yeah, this is how it works. So they're the Virginia Beach Police Department, and they the station's right down the street, so they actually work for the church on overtime on the weekends. There's like three of them, so that's how that happened. And then 3 weeks ago, we showed up like a normal day. We started protesting, and my favorite part's when the people come out. The church members come out and they start leaving, because that's when I get the most. I get to talk and I get to say, hey, we're out here to educate you. And so that's how that happened.
Educate you that you're sitting under a church of a which I don't understand how they don't. Even the ones that watch mainstream media see it. And if you don't, then you follow all of these other people. They're posting about it too. So how do you not know? You just believe he's not a pedophile because he went and solicited this who he thought was a young child. Do they talk to you about that? Like when they're coming out, or are they just delusions?
Some of them have. We had this one couple that for like 2 weeks straight, they'd bring their like little speaker out and they'd sit there and play their church music, and they'd be like, Jesus saves. I'm like, no, Jesus don't save just to put it underneath the rug like John Blanchard has done. He hasn't even came out and repent. No. He supposedly stepped down as lead pastor, but he's still listed on the website as the pastor. And that's what gets me. And every time they're like, oh, Blanchard don't even come here anymore. Blanchard don't even come here. Well, I seen him one time, but in court the other day, we did learn that he's been there every single week. He said that to himself. And
so he's been at church every single week.
Yeah, every single week. And he sneaks in there and
coward.
Yeah.
I mean, you're hiding because you're a pedophile. You're hiding and going in probably because the only way for him to continue to get his salary from the board members is, oh, you have to show up to church, but let's keep it a secret so no one knows. And we'll tell them, oh, this isn't true. It was a misunderstanding. But I don't understand where the misunderstanding is when you went and you logged on a computer to find a child, this is probably not the first time. This is the first time he was caught.
This is the first time he's caught. Well, when we were doing our investigation before we started protesting, we actually, went through everything. We went through his background check. We went through the whole internet, and he did have multiple charges of like stalking. He had a lot of charges on this thing, so he's definitely not a pastor kind of person.
No. So how many people are showing up to this church? Like, I mean, because it's a mega church, so I'm guessing there's like thousands and thousands of people.
There was a lot when we first started. The parking lots actually dwindled down to maybe not even 100. When we started, there was probably 500 or 600 people went there, and now it's down to almost nothing.
Well, that's good. Well, so then what happened? So you guys are out there protesting. These officers, which I call them policy enforcement officers, so they're like on your side, right? And then they just turn around and arrest you. And what was the charges for them arresting you?
So the charge was stalking, even though I've never went on church property, not even one time. I've always been on a public sidewalk. I've never took a step onto that property.
Wow.
So yeah, like it was bogus. I knew that from the beginning. The officers kind of knew that because he came over. He was like, man, I'm sorry, I got to do this, but that's our job.
He doesn't have to do it.
Exactly.
He did it because John Blanchard and his lackeys told him to do it. He didn't have to do it. That's BS.
Yeah, they try to come up with a plan to get me. They only went after me though because I had the 6,000 subscribers and I had a bullhorn, so I was the loudest person. Tell them I'm working on it.
I'm trying.
I don't.
I'm trying to find your stream where you're streaming from. So I can
Yeah,
see it.
screen. Test.
Sorry, guys. I'm having
That's all right.
so many issues. So I probably have to do this for my phone so it doesn't go off. Sorry.
So I have a question for you. Where can I tell my people to watch you? Because I can't restream this. If they don't hear me.
They can't hear you?
No. Do I give them that same link that you gave me?
No. So if they just go to my Facebook page, Madyson Marquette, and they should be able to watch it. It should be able to stream.
Okay. Let me do that real quick because they're like, oh, we want to hear.
Yeah.
So Facebook.
Tell them I'm telling you the technology. Anytime they don't want us to hear your story, they're gonna completely censor it. I mean, I literally have 2 computers right here, and neither one of them are working.
Oh, wow.
I'll
Right.
do it on my phone. So yeah, just Madyson is Madyson.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Mady.
Yeah, I got that. Let's see.
Right there at the top.
That's not her.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right, I want to share this to them real quick, and then we can get back. I'm so sorry.
No, you're okay. I wanted to hear the rest of what you guys were saying. So give me 1 second.
Paste this over here. All right. I'm going to end mine.
Just don't log out of yours. They'll be able to watch it.
Yeah.
Hold on.
All right.
Okay. Let's see here. Let's see if I can get this other computer to work. And then, do you want to give it a few minutes for your people to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, did you come head over to
Yeah,
Facebook? Okay.
Yeah, and YouTube too, but I don't know if it's streaming. Like I said, I just got out of Facebook or YouTube jail. I get to put all the social media jails. So
Yeah, that's fine. All right, let's go.
Now, okay, so we'll go back to. So you guys, they were like, we're gonna arrest you on stalking, but you guys have been protesting there for forever.
Yep.
4 months.
4 or 5 months, and they also gave me a charge of releasing expunged information, which a week ago that was 2 charges I got that same day, and somehow that one got dropped even before I went to court for the protective order because they know they made a mistake and they dismissed it without me being in court because I didn't even have a court date for that. You know, it was actually regularly scheduled for May 23rd. So my lawyer called me. He was like, "Did you go to court last Friday? Did you hire a different attorney? Because there was a different attorney listed as my attorney." I'm like, "No, I didn't know anything about it." He was like, "Well, that first charge got dismissed." I'm like, "Weird."
And they said he was present.
Yeah, they said I was present. I'm like, I was not there. But
yeah, they're backpedaling because they know that people are being loud now, especially about him. And so then they're like, okay, you just arrested people, which is our right to peacefully protest. So they're arresting you on that's not stalking. You're not going to his house every day. You know, I mean, it's crazy. So did you have to bail out? Did they let you out? Did you have to spend the night?
No, I was in there. I wasn't actually in a jail cell. I sat on this bench for like an hour and a half, where like up front, where the people that work at the jail, you know, sit there and talk and all that. I just sat there for like an hour and a half, and I finally got to see the magistrate. He asked me what I was doing. He asked the police officer, "Why'd you pick this guy up?" He was like, he was peacefully protesting. I was like, "Yeah, that's all I was doing." So it's kind of weird. But yeah, they released me on my own recognizance, I guess it's called. And they, you know, my wife and my son came and picked me up, and I got out that day. It was just, you know, it was just ridiculous, crazy.
At that time, there was an emergency protective order.
Yeah, they put an emergency protective order, so I couldn't go to back
Blanchard.
From Blanchard. He filed that at 2:00 in the morning also, just to keep me away from there. And this is what this whole thing was about. He didn't want me to be there, and we still had people out there. I had my wife still out there. My son filled in my spot and took over my live stream, and we had other people. Last week we had at least 10 people out there. We had people from Buffalo, New York, from New Jersey, from Ohio, from all around. You know, they made it justice for Buffalo, man. They made that up. So
I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay. Hold on. Let me see if I can get in. Give me 1 second. Try to do this from my computer. It makes me look weird, guys. I don't know, but it's just easier than holding my phone up.
Yeah. That's okay.
So hopefully just leave it like this, and then I'll just look like an albino. But it's crazy that they're arresting you, and Blanchard is just like, it's taking the attention off of who and what he is, you know? And it's like he's threatened to sue so many people, anyone speaking out against him, including myself. And it's like, okay, either sue us, but what I find odd too is that this emergency protective order was at 2 a.m. You obviously have friends. What?
The day of the church. So it was Sunday, and we usually get there about 11 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, he did it that morning at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Well, and it's like, who does he know at 2 a.m.? You know what I mean? Like, you're not just like, really, you guys are just two people that live in this town, and you're peacefully protesting. Really, you're so dangerous that you have to have a protective order at 2 a.m. Like that to me is, come on. It's like textbook. Let's sweep it under the rug. And which judge and which district attorney and who of them are being bought off? I'd love to look at their financials, because that would tell us a lot. I'm sure. Now, what made you guys decide? Was it just people reaching out to you? Or I know you said you have a son. Do you guys have a daughter? Were you guys just like sick? Okay.
Yeah, I have a son and a daughter. My son's 23, but my daughter just turned 15 in March. But we've raised our kids. You know, they're really good kids, both of them. And I protect the children pretty much because of them, the way I brought them up, and the way, you know, people's tried to come attack them and stuff like that. I just, you know, I raised my daughter the right way. So and nowadays these kids are being, you know, they're being groomed every day of their life, from the school bus, from the school, from the library, from even doctor's office now. And every day they're being attacked, kids. So that's my big thing. That's why I'm standing up for children, and I'm not going to stop. So
and the Blanchard case is kind of close to home. His family lives in Virginia Beach. So
okay. And you guys don't live in Virginia Beach?
We live we live in North Carolina, which is right on the border. But I did grow up in Virginia Beach. I went to the high school right behind Rock Church. And it's, you know, I'm there all the time. I work in Virginia Beach also every day. So.
That's good. Which is awesome that you guys are driving. You know what I mean? It's like, this is important. And it's the children. You think about these churches. What really frustrates me, and this is what I love about you two, is you're actually standing up and protesting. The issues I've had with people is they're like, what can we do? I'm like, why are you not protesting these pastors? So many women, people always tell me, oh, women aren't coming forward. No, that's not true. If you look at my social media, multiple of these women have come forward against these mega church pastors. It's just, they're not listening because it's not whatever in the mainstream media or whatever. So they don't want to listen. It's like, go stand up. If these pastors are worth millions of dollars and have these huge buildings, there is something seriously wrong. This is not God. This is not the church. This is not what it looks like at all. And no one, like, there's very little that are protecting the children. Yes, you can have keyboard warriors and everything else, but who's actually standing on the front lines? I mean, you guys are literally in a war, right? You're in a war with Blanchard right now, and it's to protect all the children that have either come in or out of that church that have been abused by him, because I'm sure there have been multiple, when the parents are like, oh, my kid's having issues, can you counsel them? And then boom, that's the most vulnerable population right there. It's just crazy. So what's the status now? I know you guys went to court. So what's the status now?
So I did go to court because the emergency protective order was only for 3 days. That expired, a couple of days later, and then they got another one. So I tried to come back the next Sunday, and I was served again with another protective order, and that one had a court date of
The 2nd.
May 2nd. So I went to that, and the judge was like, let's just do all the cases at one time, including the protective order. So I was like, okay. My lawyer was there. His lawyer was there. John was there. And his daughter was there. So he kind of used his daughter to say that she was scared of me, even though I've never met her daughter in my life.
Yeah.
It was so sickening. Like, he forced her to do it. Even my lawyer knew it, and the judge kind of knew it too, And then, court went on.
How old's his daughter?
30.
Oh,
but
come on.
Supposedly she lives, but supposedly she has brain issues or something. We were told at the court date. So I'm not for sure what's going on with that, but yeah. So that was her opening statement for like the first hour. Like
just her,
and she was bringing up my YouTube videos, like
how she watched hours and hours and hours of them.
But she only put in context.
How about stalking? Cyber stalking.
Yeah, exactly. But she was only saying a little part of that video, and the judge knew that, and so everything that they did get dropped. Well, I was found not guilty for the stalking, and she denied the protective order. So that's why I will be back this Sunday. I can't wait tomorrow. But yeah, it did leave me with a lot of lawyer fees for no reason, and that's
part of it.
Yep.
So are you guys gonna, at this point I would sue Blanchard.
Oh, yeah.
Are you guys going after him? And I would be going after the church too, and these officers. They are all about you. You guys have it on recording. They're on your side, and then they turn around and arrest you. This is the issue we have with our world right now. The police officers are not upholding their oath of offices and the Constitution. And then you have these mega church pastors that are literally running the world, and people are like, oh, okay, whatever. It's like, no, they are literally pulling the strings because look how much all of these mega church pastors are worth. Yeah. And look who's protecting Blanchard: Kenneth Copeland, Perry Stone. Like there's all these predator preachers that are they all protect. They're in a club and they're all protecting each other.
Yeah.
It's
100%. Yeah.
This can't be easy. Janet, I know it must be hard for you too. Your husband's getting arrested. Like, what went through your mind? Were you like, yeah? I would have been like, yeah, I'm gonna get you, honey.
Well, I was on the opposite side of the church. So, and you can't walk through the property or on their property. So the only way to get to it is either walk all the way around the front or all the way around the back. Well, I seen what was happening over there. My son was with him. I went ahead and, I seen him put his hands behind his back. So my son called me after I screamed, what is going on? And they're like, he's being arrested, but my son didn't know what for because he wasn't in, earshot of him. So I took off running all the way to the other side, and they basically just said that Blanchard had a warrant, or Blanchard filed for stalking and intimidation, and they had a warrant for his arrest. The officers that were there actually work at the church. The church pays them for security every Sunday morning. And then they had called another officer, I guess, to transport Jamie. So they had to, I had just had to figure out where he was. I ended the live stream because we were live, and I'm like, all right, we're going to do this. We're going to go get him.
Yeah. Which is crazy. Talk about, again, you are being paid by Blanchard and you're arresting him. That is literally like, there's so many things broken in your sedition. There's so many things that they have accused Americans of doing that they just did by arresting you and getting a paycheck from the church and the board member and everything out. That's probably why the judge was like, I have to dismiss this because then the judge is liable too if he just continue to go on. So it's just crazy.
It's very crazy. But I'll tell you one thing though, this I'm actually kind of glad this happened because it's bringing a lot more attention than it was before. Because like I said, I've been in like every single newspaper, I've been all around, and more people's been reaching out. I actually had a couple civil lawyers reach out to me the last couple of days and like, hey, you have an awesome case for what was it called?
Malicious arrest.
Malicious arrest or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been, they've been reaching out and it's all
Malicious
over
intent.
now. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'm kind of glad it did happen.
Well, any lawyer that looks at this.
Yeah, it's a slam dunk.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, here's the thing. Blanchard is running scared. And when people run scared like that, they make major mistakes. And that's what they did with you. He's like, oh, I'm losing. It's not I'm losing followers of the church. It's I'm losing tithes. So I need to nip this in the butt. So I need to figure out how I get either Janet or Jamie arrested, which I find really comical that he had just you arrested, yet you guys are protesting on both sides of the church. Like he's picking his fight, right? He's like, okay, I'm going to pick a fight with you and I'm going to have you arrested and like, let's go to war. But I mean, it is a good, I mean, sometimes blessings can happen in odd ways. And, sometimes that's sitting in jail for a little bit, but hey, So what are your guys' next steps or like what, you guys are going to go tomorrow, which tell people too, and everyone, I'm going to have the links to all their social media so you can follow them. But they're going to go protest and I will also post the address again, because I've been posting the address multiple times.
Thank you.
But so you guys are going to go protest. Have they said, if you protest, we're going to arrest you again? Have they threatened anything?
No, I have no charges or no protective orders on me. And I don't think a judge or a magistrate would even put one on since they know that my last one was just released. But like I said, I'm not scared. I work on faith over fear. So every Sunday when I go there, I can ask my wife, I'm always like, faith over fear. There's no worries. We're doing the right thing. We're doing God's work. And we're not worried. So I know I have a lot of people. Go ahead.
Go ahead. You have a lot of people.
You have a lot of people. Yeah, I have a lot of people that support me. And, I got half of my attorney fee already. And that was good because that day, it got cleared up, but I still owe him the rest. And he said that the next step, I guess, would be getting an expungement. And then we can, I guess, do the civil lawsuit. So that's what we're looking for ahead. It'll probably be a long road, but I'm ready for the fight and I'm not going to stop standing out there.
No,
it's my right.
If I live close, I'd be there with you.
Yeah, I know. I wish. See, that's the thing. That's why you don't see a lot of people at any protests anymore, because everybody's scared because of what happened with J6. And, they think that the government owns them. Well, the government don't own you. You have your rights given to you by God. And nobody can ever take those away from you. And that's why I'm not scared when I do this, because I know I'm following the law. I have a pocket constitution in my pocket at all times when I'm protesting. And just like I told the cop on the way there, I'm like, I was not doing nothing. Even the cop that took me to the jail the one day, he was like, you got a good case. You got a good civil case. I'm like, yeah.
Which is funny. They arrest you and you have a pocket constitution because they have to take all that out. So
that's the funny thing. That stayed in my pocket the whole time I was sitting there in jail. Like they kept it in there.
You could have had a shank or whatever out of the Constitution.
Yeah.
I think what you said is powerful. I had the chills when you said it. You said, I'm doing God's work. And to me, I'm like, I want everyone to really understand that, because you have this preacher, right, that stands up there every Sunday and pretends to be a man of God. Yet he's going and raping and harming our children. And if that were my son or daughter or your son or daughter, we're going to hurt somebody, right? We're happily going to go sit in prison for the rest of our life because you hurt our child. So he's doing this and pretending to talk about God, right? But the devil comes as an angel of light, and here we are. And then here you guys are literally standing without fear without, even your protest had dwindled down and you've gotten arrested and you're like, I'm going to go, I'm going to have faith. I'm going to walk into the lion's den. I'm going to walk into the fiery furnace. Like, to me, hello, this is God's work right here.
Yeah.
This is what
is.
God calls people to do, not how all of these churches are. To me, I just think it's powerful, and I appreciate you too, because to me, just for someone like me, seeing that and things that I've gone through, it's like this is what gets you through, even though we might not have known it in the past. The future, or his victims that he has had in the past that haven't come forward, they're like, listen, these two, this husband and wife and the family and your son, they're fighting for me and my voice to get him down. Like, that is, I don't think you realize how powerful that is for the people watching on the sideline. Very, very, very powerful. So we appreciate you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you guys are going to go protest tomorrow. I mean, what are you guys hoping to get out of the protest?
All right. So they did open it back up, and they appointed a new special prosecutor out of a different county. So, and I believe he has until June 7th to, come up with his decision to go forward with the case, or, because he went to get it expunged. That's what he did. And that's when they were like, something's wrong with this. Because even the police chief that arrested, with the Chesterfield County Police Department, said he has more than enough evidence to convict this guy. And so I guess they made a deal with the attorney general, or what was it? District attorney. And they were like, oh, he's just going to take these classes, these sexual assault classes or whatever. And she, I guess, agreed with it at one time, but nobody even knows if this guy even finished these the classes. And out of 17 people they arrested in Chesterfield County that day, 15 of them were fully charged and booked. One of them could not stand trial. And the other one that actually, as of right now, got away with it was John Blanchard.
So they're basically, because there's 17. Yep. And there's 16, and I'm guessing one probably has some mental health issues.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But they're still charged, right? So that person that they are saying is mentally ill, they're probably putting them in some mental health facility, right, without their will, because they're saying that they're mentally ill. And then here's John Plant yet again. It's like, here are your tithing dollars going to get him out. I don't understand how the church, like, okay, if you're going to church there every Sunday, I don't understand the outrage. If I'm going to that church and I find out that the pastor that I'm sitting under did that, like, again, I'm going crazy too, probably more so than like what you guys are doing. So did that not happen? Did you guys not see that, like, in the community, or people, because people are still showing up there. So they must, either they're pedophiles themselves or pedophile protectors, or they just are clueless to no end. And to me, that's not an excuse. So did you guys not see that at all, like within the community or the church?
Well, a lot of people in the community are really, furious about this, and they're like everybody else. They don't want to stand up because they think they're going to like be sued or, go to jail, or they're scared to talk. So that's why at 12 o'clock, when they start coming out of the church, that's when we go into the sides where they leave the parking lot, and we tell them, we're not here to harass you. We're here to educate you. All you have to do is Google John Blanchard. You will see plenty of enough evidence that this guy is a pedophile, that this guy is a predator. And that's what we say over and over and over again. And these people actually get mad at us. They'll sit there and beep at us for like 5 minutes straight. I almost got ran over by one of the church members. Had things thrown at us. We had this one guy come up, and because we told him, and we're like, so you're a pedo protector. And he got out of his car, he ran up to us, he didn't do anything, but he was like,
he was close.
Yeah, he was like, don't call me. I was like, well, you're going to this church and your pastor is a pedophile.
Yeah.
And you're supporting him because you're coming after me.
But the rest of them just walk out looking like zombies, like they didn't hear nothing.
Yep.
Right.
But his family, John Blanchard's family, owns the churches, so there's something
bigger
that we're not seeing.
His wife's name is Robin Blanchard, or Robin Jimenez originally, and Ann Jimenez is the owner of Rock Church. I guess right now she's in a hospital because she had a heart attack last week or something. But
the John Blanchard's wife?
No, his mother-in-law.
Oh, his mother-in-law.
Yeah, the one that owns Rock Church.
Okay.
Which is Ann. So.
Well, they're all bought and paid for.
Yeah.
I mean, they really are. They're bought and paid for by the Satanist elite, and that's John Blanchard. You're not getting off that crime unless you are really well connected and know a bunch of people. That's what the issue is.
Exactly.
Here. And it is, you, Pastor Grandy said, they're under witchcraft and it's pulpit worship. They worship this pastor more so. But they're not, the thing is these pastors aren't talking about God. They're talking about their God, which is Satanist. That's why, like, even crazy to think you guys are standing there peacefully protesting and people are throwing things at you. They're like threatening you. This guy's getting out. Like, that anger and rage doesn't happen overnight. You're programmed. And that's what you're getting every Sunday, programmed to be aggressive and harmful to the people standing up. Like, at some point you're like, I hope some of you all do hit me. What car are you driving? How much money do you have? You go ahead, you hit me. Let's see. I'm not going to throw hands because I'm too old, but I'm going to let you hit me and then we'll go from there. But it's just crazy. So your guys' let's go back to, so what's your goal? Is for the church to close down? Is it
more or less Blanchard to either be out of the church or to be in a jail cell, I guess.
Like I say every time, let's see, pedophiles don't belong in churches, they belong in jail. And that's what I want. I'm going to protest until June 7th, and I'm hoping the new special prosecutor goes on with the case and actually gets charged. That's my goal. That's the end goal. But the good thing is the day I got all my charges dropped or found not guilty, they did come out and they're selling the church now. The Rock Church in Virginia Beach is now for sale for $15 million for one piece, and then the old piece is $5 million, so $20 million.
That's crazy. Because all that money, will probably go to Blanchard or whatever. And it's like, just burn it down. To me, I feel like these churches need to be burnt down to this stuff. Then rebuilt for humanity. Is it homeless? Is it the women that have been abused by pastors like him that can come into a retreat center to help them? But to sell them, it's just another way for them to launder money, go buy another mega church somewhere else, hide John Blanchard for a little bit while, and then put him on the stage again. That's exactly, I don't know how much you guys know about my story, but when I was trafficked, I went to a mega church pastor in California, and they did exactly that. He was a mega church pastor, went to another mega church, and then he started being investigated. So what they do, they hid him out into another state, and now boom, he popped up in Tennessee. It's the same thing. They do the same thing. It's not just him; it's multiple. They'll probably do that with Blanchard. I'd like to put pressure on the special prosecutor. Do you guys know who that is?
Yeah, we have his name and we know where he's out of. I do plan on hopefully calling him next week, I guess, and just talking to him and telling him my story and what I've been doing and what happened to me because of John Blanchard. He's, just trying to hide his crime and trying to silence me. He took away my First Amendment right for 2 weeks in a row. And we're definitely going to talk to him. My people are all going to email him, call his office, and we're gonna go hard in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. Well, if you
peacefully but hard.
Well, you have to put pressure on them, and then at that point, then it's like at some point, if these special prosecutors or prosecutors do not give all the information to the grand jury or whatever, and that these courts are corrupt. I mean, I've said it a million times, they sit on foreign land, but it's like, do something. If you have this power, protect the people away from these predators. I don't understand why they don't. Well, because they're predators themselves. That's probably why. So I'm going to say you guys are going to be successful at this because I'm just going to pray and fast over you guys. Is this what you guys want to do moving forward? Is just like go and protest? Because you said you guys were protesting like the drag. Is that like the drag story time, right? That they were doing with
the drag story time and the all age drag shows. Yep, we're still doing that. Like I said, they're just harder to find and they're a little bit farther to drive, but we still go to them once in a while. But yeah, we're going to start we're going to continue this after we get John Blanchard convicted. We're going to find the next one in the area, and we're going to go after him. And we're just going to keep doing it, and that's our thing.
And everyone, if you guys are in their area, please reach out to them, follow them on social media. They do have a Givesendgo for their attorney fees, because again, here's what these megachurch pastors do is they go after the people that probably can't afford, or you get put into a tough position because you're paying for an attorney because you don't know how to represent yourself and you don't know much about the law. So guys, that's going to be on here too, just to click on it. If you guys want to bless them, it goes straight to them. I have nothing to do with it. I'm just posting it for them. So if you guys want to help them on that as well, but the more people that can come together, and you said something that I'd love to know both of your guys' opinions on this, because it's something that's frustrated me. You had mentioned people are scared because of the January 6th. And that's the thing. I'm like, okay, only a few people got arrested, but here you are, you got arrested and you're like, God took care of you, right? He's like, you're not going to stay in there. So I don't know if you guys want to talk about that a little bit and just walking in faith and not in fear, because that's what you two are really doing. And it's powerful.
Yeah. So I've been, since the Canadians started their, the mandates and all that, they were trying to stand up to their government. And that's where my story kind of started. I loved watching it. I wish I could go there and, do it with them. And then there was actually a trucker convoy that actually came to Hagerstown, Maryland. And that's where it kind of started for me, because we were standing up because of the mask and because of our government overreach. So we went up to Hagerstown every single weekend and walked around, talked to people, and then and then it went from there. That's how I learned to protest. Though we shut down some highways up in Washington D.C. We just stopped, and we shut down I-70 both ways, I-295 both ways. A couple of them got arrested for doing it, but I never did. But
it's awesome.
Yeah,
are you a trucker?
Going down the road. But that's where I learned the Constitution, and everybody needs to know the Constitution, guys. Normal Americans don't know the Constitution, and you know what? If the cop comes up to you, he's going to walk all over to you. Like when a police officer approaches you, you don't have to show them your ID just because you asked for it. They have to have a reason. You have to commit a crime. That's something nobody knows, because usually, can I have your ID? People are like, okay, here it is.
The people that follow me do know that, because we've been talking about that a lot, about freeing yourself from the system. And these are policy enforcement officers. Even them arresting you, they overstepped and overreached.
They did.
Which I want to talk to you about that offline, because there's a lot of recourses you have even without an attorney, going after their bonds and different things like that. So I mean, it's true, but go ahead, finish what you were saying.
So we've been to a lot of rallies, we've been to a lot of protests, and every time we see maybe like 5 or 10 people there. Like, I think at one time maybe we had 20 like at a rally or a protest somewhere, but it's usually 5 or 6, 10 people at the most at every rally we've ever been to. And that brings me back, because people are scared of their government. And the government doesn't own you. They just got way too big for themselves, and now they're taking advantage of that. But yeah.
What do you think, Janet? What are your thoughts?
Same. I just feel like they see what had happened, and I know there's huge protests for like abortion, things like that. But there's different entity, different circumstance, say one side or the other. So, but if you're leaning one way, not the other way, they see you completely different. And now that side is starting to see that they're not treated the same way as the other side. So they're afraid to, get out there and do these things.
Right. Well, they really are. It's crazy that it's like even like these liberals, I mean, they go out in like so many of them. And I'm like, where are we? The ones that love our country and we love God, but we hate religion, like, right? It's two different things, religion and God. Like, where are the rest of us? Like, I've been asking that question for 6 months, because it's like, yes, we're all spread out, but when do we all just come together, right? Like, okay, all of us are going to just drive to Virginia Beach this weekend and we're going to just be like, a lot of us on the corner because we're pissed off and here we are. And then, okay, on to the next one. You're going to be a drag queen with no clothes in front of a 5 and 6 year old or 12 or 13. Like, okay, that's our next stop. Like, let's go and stand up. But it's true. They've done a very great job, the government and these pastors, in making us live in fear and making us feel like we have to live a certain way. And that's where the issue and problem comes in. That's why people don't protest. A pedophile, where they probably went to that church. You just left. No, go stand over here on the corner.
Yep. A few of them have come out. Some of his other victims have come out before, but I don't know what happened. I think that he may have frightened them.
Well, what I've noticed, and if you've talked to any of his victims and maybe if they come up, is like I noticed this with Perry Stone, there were hundreds of non-disclosure agreements. And what happens is the women, or they were children at one point, became women, they signed these non-disclosure agreements, and then they're basically saying, the preacher will say, well, I'm going to come after you, all your stuff, everything, if you speak out, because I've paid you to be quiet. What victims that are still victims and haven't turned survivors or victors yet don't realize is that a non-disclosure agreement is null and void when a criminal act has been, when that has happened. So they don't want to speak out because they're just so scared that they're going to lose their livelihood, because think about it, you're basically standing up to Goliath. And I always tell victims and survivors, if you want a story, you want to tell your story, you can tell it. I won't put them on camera if they're still in that victim stance or stage, because to me, you're just trying to monopolize off of their pain and they need to go find healing. But if there are ones out there that want to get loud and have done their healing, come on, let's talk about it.
I think there's only 2% of us in the whole United States that actually stand up for our rights and what we believe is right,
Right.
So it actually came down. It used to be 3%. Now it's 2%. So,
isn't that sad though? It's
it's very sad. Yeah.
We need the Gideon's 300, like we just need 300 of us to just start traveling around in like a community.
I love that. I love it.
I mean, I'm down. Just take them all out too, one by one, So, I mean, what do you, I know we're almost getting on an hour. I mean, what do you want people to know, and how can people support both of you and your family?
Well, right now, the biggest thing is I got to pay off these, the lawyer. I think he gave me 2 weeks. So I got 2 more weeks to raise the rest of the money. I just want people to come out and stand with us. All you have to do is stand, bring a sign. You don't have to say anything. I got my megaphone. We got 3 megaphones now. We're getting louder. This thing caused me to be bigger and badder than I used to be, I guess. So because I have no fear now. Not even an ounce.
You try to silence him, he just gets louder.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be, though.
So that's what I want, guys. If you're close to Virginia Beach, or even if you're a little bit far away, let's come out one Sunday and stand with us and say, hey, there's more than 5 people that care what I did. Because right now he may see stuff, some stuff online or something, but he only sees 5 people standing outside yelling, which I know he don't like me for some reason, but that's good. Yeah, because I was the loudest.
You're a threat. See, I feel like because what their God is saying, right?
Yep.
I do feel like they know the ones that can take them down. I think he targeted you and chose you because he knows that. And I know your wife is there's a powerful team right here, right? So he's like, I'm gonna come try to cut the head of the snake, right? The head of the household, and have arrested or whatever. And you guys are like, haha, very funny. Let's go. So I feel like he's afraid of you two, because you guys eventually will take him out, because hey, I mean, what's the longest con in history? It's a megachurch pastor at this point. So that's why I targeted you.
It didn't work though, because I stayed out there and we brought our son to fill in his place while he wasn't allowed out there.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's like a family. When my kids get older, I'm like, let's go. You're coming with me to to protest. That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's what I'm looking for. I want more people out there just to stand up, beside us, and let's let John Blanchard know that he's a pedophile and he don't belong in a church. Either way, even if he's not found, if they drop the case, people still need to know that he's walking around and he's
a predator.
He solicited sex to an underage minor. He drove 2.5 hours away. He rented a car. He stopped and bought the supposed girl cigarettes and everything. He went to the hotel. So somebody just don't rent a car, drive 2.5 hours to talk to somebody like he claimed.
No, you're renting a car because you don't want people to know that that's you. Yep. So they run the tags, whatever, it goes to whatever rental car, and you don't know who rented it until you leave. You know what I mean? So, and to buy her cigarette, like here's the thing: you're buying her cigarettes, you're buying her things with the intent to rape her. That's what you're doing.
Yep. And he was going there for a QV, which is a quick visit in John Blanchard's, language.
Yeah.
So
you go to a quick visit to what? To rape her?
It wasn't his first time. That was just the first time he got caught. Yep. I absolutely 100% believe that.
Right. Oh, I believe that with you. You don't just get into harming children. It doesn't, just happen. You've been like this for a long time. And that's how they get into the club though. Right. That's how they maintain their status and everything else is by harming children. And that's what John, and he liked it and got off on it. And so now he continues to do it, which to me, I mean, at this point, even prison is too good for them. They should be sitting in a hole somewhere, rotting.
Yep.
What'd you say?
I said 10 foot under. They brought that up in court the other day. That's fine.
Well, I mean, we're getting pissed, right? As parents, you guys are parents, our kids, we're going to have grandbabies one day. We're at the point where we have to, what you guys are doing and what the rest of us need to do is stand up to these pedophiles because that's what they're coming for our kids. That's why he got off. And it's going to be people like him that are running the world and running the churches that are going to get away with it. And they're going to start coming for our kids. And we're going to have to, there's going to be a war on our doorstep. So we're going to take the war to your doorstep first and let's go,
Blanchard has daughters too, which is
sickening.
Well, you guys had said that. And then, so he has a 30-year-old, which has issues.
The other one's a minor still.
Yeah. She's, I think 6 or 7.
Well, that's scary.
Yeah. It's sick.
And his wife still
stands by him. And his wife supports him.
Which is, it's like, okay, is the wife a victim? Are you a victim? But sometimes I've seen wives that are worse than the husbands. Sometimes there are the victims, they're manipulated and whatever. But I mean, at some point she would have, I think a lot of people rally around her to help her and her daughter. I don't think she would just end up on the street if innocent in this, but I don't believe she's innocent. If you're protecting him and you know that he did this, it's very easy for her to go look on the laptop to see that he did that, or phone, wherever he did it from, And
that day I got done with court, I came home, I had a live stream to let everybody know what happened. And I apologized to that daughter. I felt sorry that she was manipulated to go up there and talk in front of that judge for an hour saying I was a bad person, that I've never even met her, and I've never met his wife. I've never met any of them. I don't know where they live. Only thing I know about is John Blanchard, and that's where I'm going to go in this case. I told her I apologize for her thinking that, but I told her I have nothing against you. I have nothing against your family. I'm there to protest your father for being a pedophile and for what he did. So it's
sick. It's really sad to think that you're a grown woman, but you are manipulated. But this is how powerful they are. They know how to mind control, manipulate, and that's where John Blanchard is. And that's probably how he's gotten off. I mean, he's probably pointed the finger or had someone else do his bidding for a long time now, and that's where people are like, well, can it be him because he's our beloved pastor? I see sometimes I can't protest because I probably would catch a charge by doing something. I have to hold myself on the church and go search it. I would be like, let me search this to make sure that there's no kids underneath or tunnels or anything like that.
Yeah. That's really hard when you
It takes a
go
lot.
protest an all-age drag show when you see all these little kids going in there and they don't even want to go in. Their parents are forcing them to, and these kids are like, "Why am I going here?" Like
They're confused.
they're very confused.
Yeah.
You can see it in their faces.
Yep.
There's been times we've watched them crying going inside, and I don't think it's from any protesters outside.
Nope.
It's more or less the ones that they call themselves a specific group that try to block
The
parasol patrol, I guess they're called. They hold the rainbow umbrellas, and they're shielding the children as they go into the building. And I think if I was a child, that would terrify me. Why am I hiding?
Yes. And why are you hiding these protesters yet you're taking them in to go see these naked drag
these hairy men like with barely any clothes on, and they're like getting on top of them, grinding on them, and like these kids are putting dollar bills in their G-thong. It's just like a strip club. Children should not be there at all. So
that's what I'm saying. They're coming for our children, so we definitely need more people like you guys. And so we're almost up on an hour. You guys have any last words?
If you guys have anything upcoming, if you know anything around the Virginia, North Carolina area, please email me at buffaloman11@protonmail.com and give me a heads up. We'll start looking into it, and if we decide, we'll go protest the people you send me. So,
or if anybody just wants to talk or ask us questions.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, I'm so excited I have met you guys. I definitely want to stay in touch with you guys and follow anytime. And just, and guys, please go click on their links. It'll be on this broadcast just on above. You guys should be able to click all the links. And then if you can help with their legal bills, please do so. And that's it. Anything else?
My YouTube is Buffalo Man 11. I have a Rumble Buffalo Man 11. The Givesendgo is Givesendgo / Justice for Buffalo Man. I'll give Madyson all the links, and she can put them up. But I would appreciate it, guys. And I'm not gonna back down. No. This has actually made me even stronger. It made me bigger and stronger, really.
Yes.
So.
And you guys, if you're watching, and I know some of you on here have podcasts and stuff, please reach out to them and interview them, because this is how we also get the story heard and have more people that are in their area that can connect together. So please make sure that you guys reach out to them and interview them for sure. Real quick, where does Buffalo come from? Because Buffalo and Buffalo Wifey. So is there a story there?
I'm originally from Buffalo, and I'm a man, so that's Buffalo Man. And then the 11 was my football number in high school and college. I was a quarterback.
Okay.
And hers, she's just Buffalo, and she's a wife. So.
Well, I originate from south of Buffalo, New York. So.
Okay.
So I just took the name.
I love it.
Yeah, a lot of people love that name, Buffalo Man. Yep.
I love it. It's cute. I love the Buffalo Wifey. That to me is like the cutest.
My backup channel is Bison Man 11. So I'm on YouTube.
Okay. Well, we'll put all those links even in your backup.
I'll send them over to you. Yep.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. And I apologize, everyone. We were having some technical difficulties. Well, they were not. I don't know. They didn't want us to interview. So please go support them however you can. And we love you guys, and we will see you next time.
Yep.